I know in this day and age of vibe coding, when I talk to the youngsters, they want to do prototyping and experimentation very quickly. That's great. It's great to prove a concept. But to really scale applications and make enterprise-wide scalability, even with new technology, you need to focus a little bit on architecture. The evolution of architecture has gone from, as we know, monolithic. Then there was service-oriented architecture. The technology evolves itself to give you better patterns for how you can build certain things. And these days, even with all the new tools, low code, no code, the way you put systems together has to have a certain pattern as well. So microservices architecture is still a big thing. But the key there is that however you define your architecture, and I'm going to geek out a little bit, at one time, just developing a code is like a big stone that you would carve a big statue out of. Changing anything, rectifying anything is difficult, right? So as you see here, the API, the business logic, the data layer, all was in one place, and you got the computers to do something. As we moved on to what I used to work in the service-oriented architecture, you always had an ESB, like some kind of an orchestration component that knew which layers to call and kind of execute, on the presentation layer. Now, even that was rife with problems, some clogging, etc. Performance. The biggest question that architects deal with in this day and age still is what level of granularity to come up with that microservices. There were a couple of themes at that time. People talked of domain-driven design or behavioral-driven design. The idea was that understand your business process, understand what the business is trying to do with those services before you even define the technology. And hence people started talking about business capability mapping, right? So you start with capabilities of the business and the workflow and the process rather than deciding what services and technology. Then go into teams and the value, chain within the company to understand the team topologies. So as an example, what you see here is, sales microservice has a context map, what entities are involved, and then support microservices are going to be different based on what function they do. So the idea is that objects to the domain to the UI is decided, and that's how people define the services. So my advice to a lot of my friends in this area is start with the capability map, understand the business process workflow, slice by the transaction and ownership, if you will. Understand where the data and entry and domains are so that you can kind of bifurcate accordingly. And that's when the granularity and the technology, the performance and the interaction will come. As you see in this map, for services like Netflix or Amazon, there's a lot of services that interact, and hence they're able to use the tools that are CI, CD, etc., to quickly do a production level update to an app that is maybe on a phone sitting in your pocket and you don't even know about it.